Couple of things I want you to remember. So I'm going to draw a line here because that's the warm-up. All right, you always, for these problems, are going to write the percent, if I can write, over 100. Basically, you're always going to have the percentage over 100 because percent means per 100. Did you know that? There's 100 cents in a dollar. Percent.
Whoa.
Percent. You're also going to set up a proportion.
I did the same thing that is 7%.
So this is one thing. And then the other thing I want you to remember is the part is usually next to the is, and the whole, and I'll show you what this means in just a second, is always next to the of, almost always next to the word of. So this is important right here to help you set these problems up. Always percent over 100, and the part is by the is, and the whole is by the of. And let's see how this is going to work. Okay, so let's say here, what percent of 60 is 9? So first of all, my unknown is percent, so I'm going to put that over 100. That's my unknown. The whole is next to the word of, so I'm going to write whole here. And then this is my part, because that's next to the word is. And this is how you set it up. You always put part to whole.
And then the is the equal.
So, no, not for this. Okay? So I need to set up a proportion, and I'm going to have my percent ratio equal to my part over my whole, 9 over 60. Because percent is also a part of 100. So that's how you set up your ratio. It's always part over whole for setting these proportions up. And we'll do a lot more of them. And then you just have a proportion here. So you just cross multiply, which I have not done the math on this. I just set up the problems. So you get 9 times 100 equals 60x. What'd you all get? 15. Oh, but wait, are we looking for a percent or just a number? Percent. So we're going to put the percent sign behind there. 15%. Yes.
Can you just add 9
Yes, but we're getting into more difficult ones. So yes, you can. Okay? Yes. And really, because that's all you're doing. All right, what percent, that's why you need to know how to set it up this way. What percent, again, I don't know my percent, that's my unknown, of 20 is 13. Part and whole, so let's just set it up. X over 100 equals 13 over 20. Part over whole. And then when you cross multiply, you can, Megan, but you'd get a decimal, and then you'd have to put it in percent form. Okay. So x equals 65% when you do the math. Do you all know how I do that quickly? If you want to. I know a lot of you do. If you just do this, watch. You don't have to. You can write this all out. But you can do 13 times 100 divided by 20. Because basically that's what you're doing over here. Or write it out. 100 times 13 equals 20x, and then just do the math. Okay, let's look at this. What number is 12% of 85? Oh, wait a minute. Now they gave us the percentage, so this is going to go over 100. Of is the whole, so what do I not know? The part. I don't know the part, so this is my part. I don't know it.
What I usually do is instead of using x, what I do is either, if it says percentage, I write t, and if it says number, I write n.
That's fine. You can do whatever you want. Yep.
To remember it.
Okay, again, I'm doing part over whole. So 12 over 100, that's my percentage, and then my unknown over 85.
So why would you do 12?
That's percentage is always over 100%. Percent is always over 100.
Why wouldn't it be?
This is using proportions to solve these problems, okay? 12 times 85. Try it your way, see if it works. And you can show me, Amelia, okay?
No, I was just thinking why wouldn't you divide it by 100? Is it because the percent?
You are
divided
going,
by 100?
you're going to, look, 12 times 85 divided by 100. You're going to, ultimately. So this whole purpose is to use proportions to set this up.
So you can do it as n divided by 100, and then you could say 85 over 12.
I don't know, try it and see if it works.
Would you round up? Sorry, round down since it's 10.2.
You could just leave it as 10.2. So 10.2 is 12% of 85.
I doubt that's going to work.
Okay, let's move on. All right, what number is 45%? Oh, that's going to be over 100. Of 92, that's the whole. I don't know my part. That's my unknown. My part is my unknown. So again, I can set that up the same way. 45 over 100 equals my part over 92. (45 times 92 equals 100x). X equals 41.4. So far, so good? You just have to use proportions to solve these problems. All right, 75 is 62.5% of what number? Again, now here, of what number? I don't know the whole. That means this is the part. Okay, again, of what number? Of the whole. So this is the whole. And I'm going to set it up the same way. Part to whole. 62.5 over 100 equals the part, which is 75, over my unknown, my whole. And then you cross multiply. X equals 120. So 75 is 62.5% of 120. Can we talk about number sense here for a second? Lots of times, algebra students just want to plow through the problem and not think about whether their answer is right. Does this make sense to the problem? Let's think about this. 75 is 62.5% of 120. You may say, I don't know. But do you know what 50% of 120 is? It's 60. Okay? So if 50% is 60, then it kind of makes sense that 75 would be 62%. See what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to think about that. Don't just plow through the problems and keep going. All right, try this one. It's just like this one on your own. It's got 125%, and that's okay. Sometimes you can have a bigger than 100%. You still do 125 over 100, and it kind of makes sense if you think about it. We're saying that 50 is 125% of 40, and it should be a bigger number, shouldn't it? It's bigger than 100%. So that makes sense. I just want you to stop and think about that sometimes. Okay. A survey asked 180 students how much they would tip for a $28 meal. Find the percent of students who would tip the given amount. So you need a total, which they gave us. We have a total of 180 students total. In order to find percent, you need a total.
That's a lot of students in one class.
Okay. It might not have been one class. It's a survey. All right, so then they say, well, what percentage of these total 180 tip $3? All you have to do is you take the 45 students and you divide it by 180, just like Megan was saying earlier. Could you set this up as a proportion? Absolutely. I want to know what percent, and then this is the part, and this is the whole. You can set it up the same way. I don't know the percent, but I do know the part, and I know the whole. And then you cross multiply. Let's see what this ends up with. 45 divided by 180 is 0.25, which is 25%. Let's see if this gives us the same answer. It
Why
should.
didn't you put the 28 in?
The 28.
How much?
But find the percent of students who would tip the given amount. How many students tip $3?
But it says how much they would tip.
It doesn't matter. You're looking at the table, and it says this is the amount of the tip, and 45 students tip that. So you use that number and the total students. And you can set it up like a proportion here also. You get the same answer. I should write percentage. Okay, do this one the same way. Either set it up as a proportion, or you can just do it this way. It's up to you. It should be a... Look at the table.
Students.
$5.60. Only 8 students tip that from the table. Got it? Okay. It's a very small number because it's just a very small portion of those 180 students. It's going to be a small number. If you did it this way, you're going to get 4%. If you did 8 divided by 180, which is okay, you're going to get this, 0.04 repeating. And I want you to write it as a percentage because that's what they're asking me. Okay?